Molly is my dear friend, and she is an emotional healing expert. So that's why I invited her to join our space to share maybe tips here and there that you can use on this journey of healing. So Molly, I'm handing over the class officially to you. Please, take us home.
Thank you so much, my dear Major. I don't know if you are able to hear me. I'm standing in the middle of trees somewhere. Thank you. Struggling with my network. I love what I'm hearing here. I love the last person when they said, like healing is your own responsibility, but not to blame yourself over the trauma, over the events, because none of us makes a phone call to God or to the higher power and be like, you know what, God, today let this stuff happen to me. Today let me experience this loss. Today let me experience this betrayal. Today let me experience this rejection. God, let me experience it today so that I can know how it feels. Nobody makes such a phone call. Nobody sits there and they will desire to go through a traumatic experience, including myself. I usually tell my friends, I never made a phone call to God that I just woke up one day and I'm not seeing my father at the age of 4 to 5 years. I didn't, but it happened. But then along the way, I realized that healing is my own responsibility. It's an intentional journey that I'm going to take with a lot of grace, with a lot of compassion on myself, that some days I can feel like I am strong. I'm eating the bar. I am like, yes, I think I've made it. I think I've healed from this. Just like we struggle, healing involves a lot of forgiveness and forgiving yourself, but also forgiving other people. So today you feel like, I think, yes, I've won. I've forgiven the other person. And not until you look at them in their faces and you're like, hey, I don't think whether I've already forgiven these people. So the grace, the compassion, the acceptance, the kindness, the words we would tell another person, the words we would tell Jay, the words we would tell Rachel today, you will make it. You are doing well. I see you. I acknowledge your feelings. The same words, if we turn them around and we start telling them to ourselves every day, and looking at yourself and you're like, I want to appreciate the little steps that I'm taking, the baby steps that I'm taking, that I'm not seated. And number one step is you are here on this platform today. You are here on this group today. That's a step you have taken. So even when you feel like you are not yet where you want to be, but appreciating the step you've taken towards your journey of healing, and telling yourself, I appreciate myself for being here. This is a sign for me that I'm passionate. I am intentional about this healing. Why? Why would you be intentional about this healing? Because it all goes back to the awareness of what happened to you. And for me, growing up, what happened to me, when I lost my dad, I grew up with a very tormenting family, a very abusive family, like it was under emotional abuse, physical abuse, child labor, insults. Every day you are being put down. Like the words that are coming out, they're not building you as a person. You're actually doubting. For a long time, I doubted if I was a beautiful young girl. It came to a realization after a while that I am a beautiful woman. But because the words that I used to hear from the people I grew up with, I felt like I was so ugly as a person. And so I started on my journey and I became aware. And this is the awareness I want to bring to us, that I don't know what all of us have gone through. And probably when we get to know each other, like Coach Majo said, I'll be able to know some pieces of what you went through, like the way I'm sharing my story here, a bit of what I went through. But for me, your story, what I want to hear is you to know is what happened to you. Are you aware of what happened to you? Are you aware of who you are becoming as a result of what happened in your life? As a result of that loss, as a result of that abuse, as a result of that rejection, as a result of that betrayal, as a result of a loss of a loved one, or a relationship, or a job, an investment, or anything, that you cherished and you treasured it so much. Are you able to sit and ask yourself, Rachel, who am I after what happened to me? Because pain in a way starts to define us. Pain in a way starts to shape you. And it's very important for you to trap those behavioral tendencies, and you tell yourself, oh yes, I can see this behavior. I can see this thought pattern. I can see this bitterness. I can see this anger. I see this anger outburst. I can see this loss of purpose. I can see this loss of esteem. You attach a name to it and you are able to see. Like I told you, me, when I was growing up, along the way, I noticed that I didn't love myself. I noticed that I was a shy person, which can shock some people, I'm sure, including Majo. Majo is my friend. We belong together to a community, and she believes in me when I'm talking on platforms. But I look back to the person and I'm like, hey, I wish these people had a chance to look at the person, at the girl I was before, who couldn't even look in people's eyes, who felt so shameful, who felt so shy, because I was like, I'm not good enough, I'm not beautiful enough to stand before people, because those are the things I believed as a person, So I want you to look into what you went through. Are you able to trace and be like, this pattern, this kind of behavior is as a result of this? And when you are doing that, it's an awareness you are bringing to yourself. There is a quote that says that awareness precedes change. You can't heal from what you are not aware of. You can't heal from what you can't confront. You can't heal from what you can't face. You can't heal from what you can't attach a name to. You can't heal from what you're not able to label and be like, yes, this emotional abuse, this is what it brought in my life. This emotional abuse, this is why this kind of bitterness is coming from this. And so for me, that's what I was experiencing. I was bitter. I was angry. When I was struggling to find school fees, tuition, to go to school, I started blaming everyone. Like, I hate looking at people going to school, and instead of being happy for them, I'm like, oh no, why are they going to school? Why not me? So you see how that experience started bringing the envy, a bit of jealousy in me, because I see other people and I'm like, yeah, why are they going to school? Why not me? So it's the same thing that can happen to you because of what you are going through. You look at other people and you become envious. You feel a little jealousy. You're experiencing anger outbursts all the time, crying spells all the time. You need to recognize that and be like, yes, and I'm now aware. I'm now aware of these behaviors. I'm now aware of this attitude. I'm now aware of this kind of talk. I'm now aware why I'm no longer focused, why I don't feel a sense of purpose, why I don't feel a sense of identity. I'm now aware. It starts with awareness. It starts with that. And I remember when I take people back in my country through that exercise, we break down. Even as I talk now, you can feel it. It hurts. But the beauty is at least you get to know. You get to know when you start shouting and screaming at everyone. We call it emotional displacement. You start spilling over other people who didn't do anything wrong to you. And sometimes it's subconscious. You don't know actually even when you're doing it. But the beauty of awareness that you get to know that, my emotions are like this. Lately, I'm so angry. Lately, I'm so fearful. I'm so scared. I'm scared of the past repeating itself. I'm scared of the now, the present moment. I'm so scared. I'm fearful of the future. If you experienced a breakup, a loss of a relationship, so if you experienced that even this time for you to relate again, you are scared. You're like, oh, what happened is likely to happen again. So I'm not going to relate again. Or when you're already relating, There is hypervigilance already. You are into the relationship, but it's like one leg is there, another leg is outside. Why? The fear of what happened repeating itself. You can't enjoy the present moment. Why? Because you are still there, and all that is awareness. It's so beautiful to tell yourself that yes, I am scared. Yes, there is this fear in me. When you find yourself crying and crying every day, instead of blaming yourself, you tell yourself, I know where this is coming from. So it starts with you identifying that and being aware of your behavior tendencies and being aware, because once you are aware of that, then you will be able to relate with yourself, with your creator, your higher power, your sense of being, and then you will be able to relate with us, with your people, with friends around yourself. It's hard to relate better with other people if you can't relate with yourself. If you can't first connect. If you can't first connect. Yes, someone wants to talk. Okay. Yes, so it's very important for you to get to that awareness level, and you remind yourself that this is where I am. And now the moment you get to that level and you get to know that, oh yes, this is where I am, the next step is to start what Marjorie talks about, that now you will start looking out for help, because now you are already aware, and actually you're going to live consciously. You live consciously, because most of the time there are anger outbursts. So when you go in a particular group of people, or in a meeting, or at work, or where if you were a single parent relating with your children, or you married relating with your spouse, and you're dealing with a trauma in your life, because you're already aware how this trauma is affecting you, how that incident affected you, how that event, that experience affected you. So this time round, you are able to communicate. You tell yourself that I know very well now that I'm struggling with this. So this time you start being careful as you relate with your children, as they're screaming in the house and shouting, or your spouse or is not behaving well with you. At least because you are aware, you are going to answer or relate with them objectively. Rather than, if you don't know, you don't have the awareness of your behavior tendencies as a result of what happened, chances are high that you're going to relate with them the way you feel inside. If you are angry, you just shout at them, you just scream at them, you just talk anyhow, you wouldn't mind, because you didn't check in. And I usually call it in my classes emotional check-in. An emotional check-in. You sit back and go and pause and do a check-in and ask yourself, who am I right now? Now. So how am I doing before I go to meet my children? Because if I'm not well and I don't accept that as a person, chances are that when I reach home, that's how I'm going to behave. That's how I'm going to relate with my children. So it's important for you to know that, oh yes, I think I am angry. Yes, I am scared. Yes, things are not going on well. Such that when you go to meet your friends, to meet your spouse or your children or any other person, you are able to communicate. And that's the beauty of having relationships.
Molly, can you still hear me? Have we lost Molly?
I have. I still have you, though.
All right, that's awesome. So as we get her back, maybe we can share from what she has been sharing so far. Anything that has stood out for you so far? Yes, Lori.
I was going to say that something she just said, that Molly just said about having the awareness is something that really stood out for me. And I'm more aware now than I have ever been. And I believe that may be the first step. I've got a long way to go, but I'm thankful and grateful that I have the awareness. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Lori, for sharing. That is true. That is where the healing starts, that you recognize and you're aware of the situation, and then you get on the journey. Yes, Jay.
I was just going to say, like, I resonated so well. And that's just with the awareness. And it, like, brought tears to my eyes because, like, I've been on this journey for so long, but I've been lost for so long. So I've been lost for 30 years of my life, but I've only been on the journey. Okay, 29 years of my life I've been lost. But then this last year I'm finding myself. And it's the awareness that I've allowed other people to take the driver's seat of my life, which now I'm doing it, but it's really, really tough. But I have to remind myself that I didn't get here overnight. I'm not going to get out of this overnight. And so I'm putting the work in, and like little by little, I'm seeing like progress. But it just really hit me when Molly had said that, like about the awareness. It hit me really strong. So that's pretty cool.
Wow, hearts for you, Jay. Hearts for you. Thank you so much for finally getting on the journey. And like we always say, it's not about the years wasted, like looking back and say, oh, maybe I spent my 20 years, 29 years. It is what is left ahead of us. So I'm so happy for you that you're now on the journey. Like you said, it is a hard thing to get on. It's a hard journey to get on. But once you start, like we say, we don't give up. We have some good days, we have some bad days. Sometimes we fall back to where we were initially. But like we say, we have to keep getting up and getting back on the journey. So we celebrate you, Jay. We are not looking at the 29 years. We are looking at the 29 years ahead of you. So keep going on the journey. We are cheering you on, and you are definitely in the right space. So thank you so much for sharing. Molly, are you back? Are you able to hear us now?
I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Okay. Are you able to hear me, Majo?
Yes, we can hear you. The friends have been sharing just the take homes already from what you've been sharing from the awareness bit. And I see Janet's hand is up. Janet, you want to say something?
Yeah, I appreciate what's been said so far in the comments. And I guess what I took out of this is that I have to remember where my feet are and how I am today and how I'm going to proceed, per se. And that's all. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And like we always say, when we learn something, we have to get on the journey of picking, even if it's just one tiny step that you're going to implement in your life. Because it can happen that you get on these calls, you get all the tips, they feel amazing, they sound amazing. But then when you go back home and don't do anything about it, then you will stay exactly where you are, or even worse. Yeah. So we need to be people that pick, even if it's just one tiny thing that you can implement in your life. For example, if it's awareness that Molly is talking about, you find out, what can I do to be aware of the situation? And after I'm aware of the situation, what do I do next? So thank you so much, Janet, for sharing that too. Molly, back to you.
Thank you, my dear. I'm going to struggle with my network where I am, but I'll try my best. And I love the beat. I love what I'm hearing from us, the awareness. And once you reach to that level, like Majo said, and you go back home, and it's even if it's one thing, and you tell yourself that from my experience, you sit with yourself and you tell yourself, from my experience, I'm now aware of this behavior tendency. So you start challenging yourself. Like someone talks about surrendering your power, and other people you are into, it's like you gave out your authority, your power, your willpower, the inner strength to the pain. And even as I talk about this, it hurts, but let me challenge us that, because I was there as well. Many times we give a lot of power subconsciously, like we are not even aware that we've surrendered our power to the pain. Like your decisions are being informed by the pain. Your thoughts are being informed by the pain. So after you being aware, now you start being careful that even when you find yourself you've messed up again, you just tell yourself, I know I didn't hit my target today, but this is not the kind of person I want to be. Healing happens. So healing happens very fast when you envision the kind of person you want to be. Like you tell yourself, yes, I'm coming from the struggle of addiction. I'm coming from this abuse. I'm coming from this loss of esteem. I'm coming from rejection. I'm coming because you know where you are coming. We talked about it in the awareness. You know where you're coming from. And you are already aware of how what happened has shaped you. Because it is shaping you. It is impacting on you. There is something it's doing. It's defining something on your life. Look at yourself before whatever happened to you. Look at the person you were and the person you are after something happened in your life. I want us to look at both parties. Look at the person, trust back to the kind of person you were and the person you are right now after what happened. You will notice that there are two possibilities. There is a possibility of a negative and there is a possibility of a positive. Because even the pain we go through, it doesn't mean that it's going to cripple us, nothing good will come out of us. That same pain, if we chose and we tell ourselves, this is painful, but I can use this pain for the good. This pain is going to help me build resiliency. This pain is going to help me have a strong emotional muscle, have an awareness that this is not the end of the pain in my life. Because reality is, it's going to, other things will happen again. But this time when they happen again, it's not that we are ready for pain, but this time when it happens again, there is that feeling of like, I went through it. This is not the first time I've experienced pain. I've ever gone through a rejection. I've ever gone through a loss. So if this is happening, because that's the iron of life, stuff is going to happen. Today we are going through this journey and you feel like you are done. Oh yes, I'm healing, I'm healed. Then the next day, the next year, there is another blow of something you least expected. And like, what? But this time around, the positive in that pain is, you're like, no, this one is not putting me down. You're not in denial. You've accepted that it has happened, but you tell yourself, you know what? I'm not going to give this a chance to make me lose my identity, to make me lose my purpose in life, to make me lose sense of life, the joy of life. I am going to crawl, even if it means crawling. I am going to leap, even if it means leaping, but I'm not giving my power to this pain. I am going to walk through it. I'll find someone to journey with. I'll talk to a therapist. I'll talk to a counselor. I am going to engage into activities that promote healthy living. I'll go into meditation. I'll do a nature walk. I will pray. I'll listen to worship songs. I'll elevate my spirit, but I'm not giving up. Now that's a person who has been defined by the first pain in a positive way. Or there is another person that you just get tired, that every pain that comes into your life, you sit in it and you're never coming out. But this is not us here. This is not you, Melissa, here. This is not us here. The reason why we are on this call, on this platform, is to build a muscle in ourselves, because we know The world is full of pain in one or the other, even when we don't want to accept it. When I lost my dad, that was the most painful experience. Not until I went through a heartbreak, a loss of a relationship, and I was like, yo, what is this? What is this? Because I also felt it so painful. So, like, stuff is going to be happening. Stuff is going to be happening to us. But my dear, I am here to encourage us that we can grow that muscle in our lives. Find it, identify it, and get to know that this is who I am right now. And when you find it, don't blame yourself. Just tell yourself, I'm human to feel this pain. If you spilled over other people, if you happen to spill over other people, you tell yourself, I'm aware of this anger outbursts. You must be aware that you are capable of those anger outbursts. You must be aware that you are capable of the worst because of the pain. And so you start living your life objectively. You start challenging yourself that, no, I'm regaining my power. I'm regaining my power. I'm regaining my identity. You start talking with your pain. Ladies, you start talking with your pain. You start trapping the thought pattern. You start listening to the voice inside of you. The voices, the words that are coming inside of you that are telling you are finished. You're not good enough. You're not going to come out of this. You see, after losing that boyfriend, that husband, you'll not get another one. You're not going to manage. You start listening to those voices and tell yourself, I am aware of you. You start speaking back to your pain that I'm aware that this was to happen. It's not a shock. It's not a shock for you to find yourself into intrusive thoughts. It's not a shock for you to find yourself into intrusive images after a traumatic experience. Don't be shocked and be like, why me? Why me, Marie? Why me? Why me, Anita? Why me, Melissa, experiencing this? Why is this happening to me? It's not a shock, Annie. It's not. You actually speak back to it and tell yourself, I am fully aware that this was going to happen. But as much as you're happening, I'm not giving you the power. I'm not giving you the power. You speak back to it and tell yourself, I am on a journey to the best version of myself. I'm on the journey of healing and I'm appreciating my journey. So today, when you find yourself into intrusive thoughts, you tell yourself, tomorrow I'll manage. Tomorrow I'll do better. If they come back again, I'll stand out and talk to them again and I'll be like, no, you're not welcome in my mind. You are not welcome in my mind. I'm not thinking about you. And that's when you start questioning your thinking pattern. Like the traumatic events we go through, we relive them in our minds. So you need to reach to a level where you start questioning yourself. Why am I thinking about this? Do I need to think about this? If I'm to think about it, for what? What's the agenda? What's the objective? What's the benefit? Am I thinking about it? If I allow it in my mind, is it going to help me? Am I revisiting it to heal, to know how it has affected me? Or if I revisit it, is it putting me down, crippling me? Because you realize when you go into that thinking pattern, then your actions change, your feelings change, your emotions are affected. And before you know it, you could be even smiling. In a minute, everything changes. Why? You revisited a painful experience. So it's high time we started trapping ourselves, noticing ourselves when we are going in there, and you talk back to it and you're like, I don't think whether I need to meet with you today. I don't think whether you and we need to talk about it today. Do we really need, you are into your mind and you're telling yourself, no, I don't see a reason why I need to think about you today. Because when I think about you today, I'm crippled. I feel a lot of pain. Unless if I'm able to bear this pain, but if this pain is changing my behavior pattern, if it's affecting my healing journey, I don't think whether I need to sit with you and we meet. So I'm choosing to do the difference. I'm choosing an opposite direction. Sit in your thoughts only when they are helping you. Sit into your traumatic experiences only when they are helping you heal. But when you notice that they are taking you back, They are making you hate yourself. They are making you hate everyone. They are making you hate life. Then you don't need to sit with them. And that's the battle of the mind. That's the battle of the mind. And it is okay. It's a battle, and indeed we all know what it means to be in the battle. It is okay. We are going to fight. But we can win with a positive attitude. So I want to end here and just hear from us what's coming to you. I know this is a whole journey, and I know Majo and I are committed to this year. We shall be coming and talking about this. Today I just wanted to give us just a brief about it. Go with that awareness, get to know how you've been affected by that. And when you get to know, start regaining your power back. Start speaking back to it. Get to know what you lost. What did you lose? Did you lose safety? Did you lose trust? Did you lose the joy of life? Did you lose esteem? Get to know what you lost. Name it and tell yourself, I'm starting on my journey of regaining what I lost. Because I need my joy back. I need the sense of peace around me back. I need the sense of safety again. I need it again. I'm not going to surrender it to the other person who abused me. Because when you lose it, and it's literally you are accepting, it's like you have accepted the other person who hurt you, or the experience you went through, you've accepted. You've given it the power to take everything out of your life. No, don't surrender your power. Don't surrender your power. Don't surrender. Regain it slowly. It's a journey. It's a process. But take those steps. Take them slowly. Take them slowly. At the end of the day, you'll be there. And one day you look back. And even when you think about it, you smile and tell yourself, yeah, I can look back. And now I look at it and I'm like, yeah, that was the season of my life. But actually right now, I can just help another person going through the same. And that's where we want to reach. That you can look back to your journey and tell yourself, now I know what the other person going through, because you experienced it. But when it's no longer putting you down, it's no longer making you lose yourself. But you look back at it and you tell yourself, I know that season was painful, but I'm here. I am still alive and I can help another person on this journey. So let's have that take home, assess, know what you lost, name it, write it down that this is what I lost. Even if it means crying on your paper, it is okay. Just put it down. What did you lose out of that experience? What did you lose after that abuse? What did you lose after that loss of a loved one? What did you lose? And do you want it back? Things might be different, it might not come back in the same way, but you can get it again. When you name it, when you are aware of what you want, the healing journey will be faster because you are working towards something. So let me stop here for now. Marjorie, over to you.
Thank you so much, Molly. I see we have 4 minutes left. Maybe we can leave the floor for the friends to share any take homes, what has stood out for you, any question, maybe before we end this space. Have we picked something, at least one thing that can help us on this journey? Yes, Clarita.
Yes, I have a question for Molly. She was talking about a muscle, and I can't remember exactly what she said. It had to do with pain, and I was wondering if she remembers that part, if she has a name for that muscle.
Molly, have you got the question?
Yes. So in my world, it's not in any psychology, but it's something I saw in my life. You grow what we call an emotional muscle. In other words, what we call resilience. But I love to call it a muscle, like, bodybuilders, when they grow their muscles, that no matter how they are stretched, they can handle. Just like you see athletics, people who run, that they reach to a point that even when they are tired, until they reach to the finishing line, they are not giving up. It's the same thing when it comes to pain. You grow a strong emotional muscle that even when you are hit by the toughest thing in life, you are able to face it and you tell yourself, I've ever gone through pain. This is not the first pain. And so this one is not killing me. So that's when you've grown that emotional muscle that you are able to handle. You reach inside of yourself and you call out the inner strength and you tell yourself, we are going through this without losing myself. That's when you've grown that strong emotional muscle. Just like bodybuilders, athletics, sportsmen, that they reach a point, even when they're stretched, they can still keep running to the finishing line. Yeah, I don't know if that helps you.
No, that was a very good answer. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Molly, for that. Do you have any other question, something that has stood out for you? Something that you're going to implement? Remember, we said for every call, at least pick one thing that you're going to implement immediately to get on the journey.
I just want to say that thank you so much, Molly, because this is so reaffirming how you put it all, because it all resonates and reverberates to the stuff that I've been on my journey about. I mean, I use the word like that, don't give away your power, but just to, when you reframe it and things like that and hear it in someone else's voice is just amazing. Yeah, and like you say, the memory that it's like I can constantly handle things, and because things are always going to come in our world all the time. And yeah, so thank you so much again, because it's a very beautiful message. It's a lot, but yeah, it is a bounce back, isn't it?
Thank you, Anita, for sharing, and thank you for joining the space. Anyone else has any parting shots? Yes, Jay.
I just want to thank you, Molly, and thank you, Marjorie, for holding this space. And really, like, I've taken so many notes, and things have hit me right on my heartstrings. Knowing that I am just at the beginning of my healing journey. It's not like, I have like a full life ahead of me. So like I'm able to make a better life, even though I've struggled at like the beginning part of my life, but it's who I am today. And so it's means so much to me, because I want to be a person to give back as well and help others along their journey, but I have to get there myself. Well, at least further along myself to be there. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I see Lori's hand is up as well. Yes, Lori.
Yes, hi. Regarding surrendering to the pain, that those words really got me thinking. And I'm just wondering if my not getting out of bed, not wanting to get out of bed in the morning when I wake up is, I've been trying to figure out what that is. And it's getting old now. I mean, it's been over 2 months. I do get up because I have a job, but it's murder just to get up and to brush my teeth and to take a shower. And it's just painful. And I have felt that it's depression, and I still do. Now I'm wondering also, is it surrendering to the pain, because I'm just exhausted from fighting through all this for so long. And I'm just wondering if, Molly, if you have any suggestions of how I can get my butt out of bed in the morning without it being so painful and a fight every single darn day.
Awesome. Thank you, Lori, for sharing so much. And we're glad to have you on this space as well. So I don't know, do you have any other parting shots? Roman, are you there? Melissa, you're welcome. before we close the space?
I'm just listening. I'm here. I was hoping actually maybe for an answer to her question, because I kind of, I wouldn't say I'm struggling with the exact same thing. I mean, I can get up and get out of bed, but it's not something that I enjoy. It's not like I like this existence. I would prefer it to be shared with the ex, but you know, how do I? I'm not moving away from that feeling. I'm just kind of getting through the day.
Oh, yes, you're taking one day at a time. Thank you for sharing.
It's, I'm sorry, just, may I just say something?
Yes, Lori, please.
Thank you. Thanks. So I'm just existing. And so I was looking for an answer too, if Molly or you, Marjorie, might have any tips or tools regarding that, rather than living. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I feel I'm just existing.
Okay, so Molly, are you able to come in on that?
Yeah. Thank you so much, my dear, for this is honesty, sharing your life here. Yeah, and like Majo said at first, that we are taking one step at a time. It's really tough. There are those days when you really feel like, if it were possible for me to just sleep and just sleep and just sleep. But like I said, one of the steps that have helped me in life is to allow myself think about the kind of person I want to be. Be in love with that person. Like, be so much in love with the person I want to be. I don't know who you want to be now, like how you want your future to look like. That for me used to give me a lot of chills, used to make me smile, even when it was painful. Those days when I was still into my depressing moments, I remember I used to come out of bed and I tell myself, I want to hold someone's hand. I want to help someone heal. So I can't do it when I'm like this. I can't do it when I am not waking up, or when I'm not going to brush, and I also loved life. I feel like you need to gain back a sense of love for yourself. Leave alone what you do, because you could be doing what you do because you need to survive, you need to make ends meet, you have responsibilities, you have expenses, but loving yourself so much that you love life, like to start looking at life with a different perspective, and you're like, but life is beautiful. As much as life hurts, but also life is beautiful. So you wake up with this joy, like with this joy inside of you. You even command it. Like, I want to smile. I want to love today. I want to experience the presence of life around me today. So I'm going to wake up with this enthusiasm. Nobody is forcing me to wake up. Nobody is telling me, wake up. If you don't wake up, we are going to beat you today. Nobody. But I'm choosing to love myself and everything around me. So I'm waking up with that positivity. But also, I'm waking up because there is a person I want to be. And if I don't come out of this bed with some compassion, chances are high that I can, yes, become the other person, but when I'm not in love with that person. There is a difference. You can become the kind of person you want to become, but in pain. Or you can become that kind of person with a sense of purity, with a sense of healing in you. So it's one step at a time. And I don't know what you enjoy doing. Personally, I enjoy music. Like, incorporate what you enjoy doing. Is it dancing a bit? Is it some bit of music? Is it some sound, clapping? Is it drumming? Like, what is it? What do you want to look forward to in the morning when you wake up? Is it a beautiful dress? Is it a good meal? Is it an aroma? What do you want to wake up to? Do it before you go to bed, so that the moment you wake up, the moment morning comes, either you tune on your music, because those are enablers. We call them enablers. You have healing is tough. You have to put things in place that can help you enable your journey. So what do you love? What do you love? Chances are you could say, I don't have anything, but there is something you love. So put it in place. Is it music? Personally, I love music. I love reading my Bible. I love reciting certain Bible verses that are off head, actually. The moment I wake up, I can wake up when I feel so low, but it's part of my routine every morning to recite certain verses in the Bible. So the moment I wake up, I start with, oh yes, the Lord is my shepherd. Even when I feel low, I'm like, you are my shepherd. I repetitively say it, even if it means 10 times, until it sinks deep inside of me to believe it. So what do you love to do? How do you want your morning to be like when you wake up? So that it enables you to wake up, show up. Is it music? Brush while shaking your head? Is it some sound? Brush, clean your house while listening to that music. Like, allow yourself to fall in love with that moment. We call it mindfulness. Allow yourself to remind yourself that I am here. I know I have a pain, but I'm in this moment. I'm in this moment to enjoy this moment. So I'm not giving anything a chance to steal it away from me. There are many tips, and as we go on this journey, I think we shall be bringing one by one, but I don't know if for now those ones can help you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing. We have gone past time, but I am grateful for everyone that has made it to the call, and I am sure we're on the right journey, okay, on our healing journey. So we shall end it here unless someone has something else they want to share before we close. But we can end this here and then be back next Tuesday. If there is nothing else, maybe you can just unmute and say bye, and we can call it a day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Mari. Thank you, Roman. Thank you for joining. Have a lovely day. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Mari. Thank you, Coach Molly, for leading the session.